As fantasy fans, we love strange worlds and odd powers. But too much strange and too many types of magic can make a story feel bloated. Sanderson's third law of magic states, expand what you already have before you add something new. We have already talked about depth some in this video series, but only on the surface level. And now it's time to talk about it in depth. Sanderson gives 3 different ways to expand and explore your magic: extrapolate, interconnect, and streamline. Every change you make to the world has ripple effects. If a portion of the population or all the population can fly, it drastically changes travel, trade, and economics, culture, passing of information, clothing, religion, the list goes on. And extrapolating is the process of diving in to see how deep this change goes. Avatar: The Way of Water is a good example of this. As far as I can remember, I'm by no means an expert on anything Blue Avatar. The second film built off ideas they'd introduced in the first film and explored a new ecosystem of that world without really adding new elements into the magic system. Feel free to jump in with other good examples in the comments. At this point, I think it's important to add a caveat. With world building, it's impossible to build everything. If you start digging, you could easily never stop digging. When it comes to writing a novel, it's important to identify some parameters for your story. For example, my book, The Fourth Wall, takes place in a world where fiction is power, and reading someone's book is like casting a vote for them. For the purpose of my novel, I had to consider how someone in power might limit others from gaining power, and introduced the practice of flagging authors. This drives up the prices of their books, making it less likely for readers to choose to buy them. However, for the purposes of my novel, I didn't need to dive any deeper into economics and look at how fiction as power might affect inflation, trade, the stock exchange, etc. But it's going to happen. We're going to have more than one idea. Sanderson suggests connecting these ideas to give them a cohesive feel. Mistborn, yes, I'm going to use Mistborn as an example again. Really, it is a great example because it technically has 3 magic systems. But does it? I could argue there is really only one because they feel so connected. Though Allomancy and Furukami have different abilities, and those abilities are activated differently, they both use the same metals and have a similar aesthetic. Streamlining is looking for ways you can use already existent world building instead of creating something new. This is a little hard to give examples of because it happens in the background when world building and is not always visible on the page. The Greenbone Saga is one that comes to mind though. There are several nations involved in these novels, but instead of creating a new magic system for each nation, the Greenbone Saga only has one type of magic, and when we go to a new nation or meet a new culture, we see how that culture reacts to the magical resource jade. By the explanation I gave of the Greenbone Saga, it would be easy to think that something like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where each nation has a different type of magic, is a bad example. But I think in this case, the nations created themselves around the 4 types of bending, which feels organic. Like-minded people and like-powered people coming together. I think Avatar is actually a great example because when they go to interesting places, the characters meet cultures who have adapted the magic system to their needs and their situation. Swamp bending comes to mind immediately as a unique style of water bending created out of a reaction to the environment. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Although this is the last of Sanderson's laws, don't despair. This is not the last video in this series. I have a couple more videos planned, including one where I'm going to put all 3 of these laws of magics to practice and create a magic system out of scratch right here on this channel. So make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, the entire series of videos on magic systems is right here for you if you missed any of them.